let's not take credit for our father's good deeds. Now, obviously, the title is hyperbolic and clickbaitish. Obviously, the Italians have their own wonderful and, dare I say, beautiful language. Okay, so don't get mad. But why do Italians point to the sky and say, Boch? I don't know.
I have no idea what you're doing here. What are you doing here? So today I'm going to be asking some of my coworkers just some simple questions about a specific Italian word, and that word is bow. Could you define what the word bow is in English?
English bow. Bow is like...
They can't even pronounce it properly, right? Why would a language use letters that it doesn't pronounce? Well, because it's an artificially created language, and or it's a word from a different language they don't know how to pronounce. Logical.
Bow, it's a strange word.
Okay, like
Strange word, okay? They have no clue what it is.
if you ask me,
Do you know what did you put like the trouser? Where the I don't know, bow.
It's funny, but if you ask me, what's your name? I can say Bo.
you use bow when you really have no idea what the answer could be. So it would be the equivalent of, I don't know, or I've got no clue.
Kind of like rune, meaning a mystery to the German who supposedly invented it, right? It's another one of these mysteries. Kind of like the Catalonians in Spain and their neighbors calling themselves, or their neighbors calling them, Polacos, and them having no clue why they do that, right? I know academia gives us 3 or 4 different explanations that are mutually exclusive, meaning that, oh, they don't know, right? These people don't know. It's a mystery. Why do they call themselves Polacos? Why do their neighbors call them Polacos? They don't know. The people themselves don't know. God only knows, right?
Okay, is there like a typical hand gesture or body movement that you use with that?
Bo, we do like this.
Raise our shoulders to the sky.
Shoulders and we say Bo.
Bow.
The shoulders. Yeah, like Bo.
Bow is like to say, if you say I don't know, bow.
So you know the emoji? That's the bow emoji.
They point to the sky and they say, Boch. Pretty simple to me.
About how many times per day do you think you either use or hear this word?
So many. It depends on the day, but around 5, between 5 and 10 times.
I mean, it's a pretty common word. I mean, depending on who you're interacting with during the day. If I speak.
Very common, oft used word that's very strange. They have no clue where it comes from.
To the head of the school, I don't say bo because she would slap me.
Right? It's like a kid, let's say in America or any English-speaking country, being told by a pedagogue or the parent to do something, and their response is, God. Right? They might get slapped.
I wouldn't say it to my supervisor necessarily, but when you're speaking to friends, I would definitely use it.
I think it's a funny way to say that you don't know a thing, just answering someone like,
Of course you don't know, because you've been brainwashed. Let's look at what Wikipedia has to say. Obviously, all the Slavic speakers already know what the word means, right? It means God. In Slovak, literally, Boh. Boh, say it right now. Polish, you would say Bóg. Other Slavic languages, you say Bog. Yeah? Like Bohuslan, Bohuswan, something we talked about in another video. Or, here's a weird one, Bohemia, right? Bohemia, Gotland, Slavic, Gotland. But there's more to that story, and that's another video. So what's interesting is that both in Italian and Galician, which is another Romance language from Portugal, right? Portugal. Galician is a dialect of these Romans, in my opinion, a Romanized language spoken in Portugal. They say boch, and it means the same thing, right? He's a great president, don't you think? Boch. Que vai ser? What literally means what will he be? What will it be? What's it gonna be? God, what's it gonna be? But, you know, it's supposed to mean bah, because we're all sheep just walking around talking like that. Bah, bah, right? Well, yeah, the people who don't understand their history, yeah, they're sheep. So you got both. In Galician and Italian, people pointing to the sky and saying God. In Slavic, right? God only knows. God knows. Bóg wie. Solo Dios sabe. You say it in all these different languages, right? I'm sure Italians even say it in their own language, but they also say it in another language. But the reason why they can't pronounce the name, the word, and they don't know where it comes from is because, well, it's not their own word. They have no etymology for it. The Slavic etymology is simple. But there is no etymology, really. It's exactly the word that it is. God. Point to the sky and say, God knows. I don't know. Don't say it to any of your superiors because it's a little bit disrespectful, right? Go wash the dishes, Sonny. God, not again. So, you know, the reason why these people never look to the Slavs for any answers is because they were brainwashed with this nonsense that the Slavs came to Europe in 600 AD. No, no, no. They've been there for a very long time, as I've proved many times over on this channel. But because there's this bias, because there's this paradigm that mainstream hysteria, quackademia has imposed on everybody, meaning that the Slavs didn't come to Europe till 600 years ago or 1400 years ago, they don't even look to, for example, to Slavic languages for any explanation, right? They don't look into Slavic etymology because history says they weren't even there yet. That's why the Etruscans are another mystery. Well, we don't know who they are, where they came from, even though in Italian they call them also Russians, right? The people themselves call themselves Raseni, you know, I mean, come on. But because mainstream quackademia says, you know, don't look there, sonny, no one cares to look there. But as soon as any Slavic linguist or etymologist gets a hold of the Etruscan tablets, somehow they can read that stuff. Somehow it's easy for them. And then Rome says, chase this guy out of here. The first guy to translate the tablets, right? Etruscan script, Polish dude. Chased them all the way to where? Well, those are the Etruski people, all the way to Russia. Go over there. Somehow they accepted him there. Why? I wonder why that is. But Italy or the Romans, they wanted none of that, right? They don't want you to know where some of your words come from. Why so many of your people call themselves Russos, right? You're not supposed to know this because it doesn't agree with the mainstream narrative. Just as this evolution paradigm that was accepted without any proof has all these historians, all these archaeologists dating things millions of years into the past, because that's the paradigm, right? In order for evolution to have happened, Earth must be millions of years old. There's no proof for any of this. But because they find a variety of different things, and some of them are older than others, they have this huge scale that's already predetermined by the evolutionary paradigm that they have to place these items on this scale. So logically, they're going to date some things to be millions of years old, and they're finding, you know, shoes and like jewelry, and they're saying this, it's millions of years old, right? Because that's this stupid pseudoscientific paradigm. That's why, you know, people in Italy and Portugal throw their hands up at the sky and say God, and have no idea what they're saying, right? Because, well, God only knows, right? The Bohemians, they know, right? The Lachs, Al-Lachs, the Lachs, they know. The Goths, they probably knew too before they were Germanized, right? Anyway, that's my video. Hope you liked it. And remember, let's not blame the son for his father's sins.